Welcome to the Cooper Associates County Ground. I'm Steve Snell. Today we're going to be doing a fielding masterclass with club captain Tom Abell and assistant coach Paul Tweddle. We're going to be chatting about all things fielding, both mental and the practical aspects of fielding within the ring. Looking forward to getting into it.
Swing, you see that road's going to be tight, he's giving it out, but he's hit on Tom Abell!
I'm here with club captain Tom Abell and assistant coach Paul Tweddle. Today we're going to be chatting about our fielding philosophies and what that looks like when we're out in the middle, certainly the practical application of that, but also the mental side of fielding. So, Tom, when you're in the throes of competition, you're out there at extra cover, what's going through your mind as the bowler's running in?
I guess when you're in a ring, especially just thinking about how you can affect the game, trying to do your job as best you can, looking for run-out opportunities, and obviously throwing yourself about in a ring. I think you have an important role in trying to keep up the energy as well if you're fielding in the circle. So they're the sorts of things that go through my mind.
Certainly from your perspective, most Somerset fans will associate you with fielding at extra cover. Do you see yourself as a specialist in that position, or do you enjoy all different aspects of the fielding positions you find yourself in?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable in a circle. I haven't done a huge amount of slip fielding. That might be something sort of for me to work on. But I fielded at point, I fielded at sort of mid-wicket as well, and I'm quite happy wherever. As I say, I guess the role is slightly different in each position, and you've probably got to try and read the game slightly differently, read what the batsman's trying to do. But ultimately, I think you've got to try and make sure that you're always looking for those opportunities to change the game.
You mentioned the word there, read what the batter's trying to do. How many clues or how much tell do you get off the batters? How much influence does that have on how you field?
I think it has a huge impact. Anticipation is probably the biggest thing within fielding. I guess it's a very split-second thing. You're watching the batter and seeing their back lift, see the type of shot that they're shaping up to play, and you try and sort of adjust accordingly, I guess.
We've all heard that old adage of walking in with the bowler and being on your toes. How relevant is that in the professional game? Is that old school, old hat, or is that something that still exists?
I don't think so. I think that like walking in, it's all part of your preparation. It's all part of your movement pattern and getting into good positions to make sure you can attack the ball or dive, whatever it may be. So I think that is a huge part of it.
So movement patterns, reading the shot shape, being switched on in terms of ready to go, in terms of anything could happen. It sounds like some good nuggets that we're going to have a look at in a minute. Paul Tweddle, Somerset, I think assistant coach is official title these days. I know you've had a big impact and a big role to play as a squad in terms of the fielding, right across from the academy into the first team. Can you give us a bit of an indication of the work that goes in behind the scenes, and then just what these guys like Abes they're doing on a daily basis to practice their fielding?
Yeah, I think the whole club philosophy is to try and create impact in the field. Wherever you're fielding, that there's a chance going to be coming your way, and that you need to be ready for that, and that you're building a story in your head about the state of the game and how you can then go and impact the game.
The way you're shaping up, I thought you were going to try and hit this area, and then at the last minute when you sort of just drop your hands and looking for a one in here, that's my signal to really attack the ball and try and sort of run you out.
So as soon as I dropped my hand, it gave the impression that you rushed me, you were running at me, even though you didn't quite know where the ball was?
Yeah, and look, there's sometimes when you can probably read it a little bit wrong, and you'll attack balls that maybe get a bit hit a bit harder. But I guess that's a risk you've got to take a little bit if you want to try and get a run out in there.
So you see my hands drop, you don't know quite where the ball's going to be, but your instinct is telling you that it's going to be somewhere around here.
But the way you've played that shot, I'm thinking he's looking for a one in this area. So as soon as that goes through my head, I'm thinking get at the ball and try and run you out.
Okay. Might see if we can sneak a little single in a minute, so we can test that theory.
I'm always looking to come at the ball, attack the ball, because that gives you the best chance of taking a diving catch forward or affecting affecting a run out. So look, if a guy crunches it past you, I think sometimes you've got to say fair play, but one thing I never want to happen is to be caught on the back foot, sort of waiting for something to happen. I always want to try and go at the ball and make it happen myself.
A lot of really good fielders in this position talk about narrowing the angle. Is that an aspect of it as well, making that as small a target as possible to get past you?
Yeah, that's another thing. You've got to think about angles, especially obviously in 2020 cricket or one-day cricket. You know, in the ring you'll probably have guys slightly tighter and then guys that sit on the ring. So you do have to think about that, but especially when someone's new to the crease and they're looking for, you know, quick singles in here, I think that's when you've got to be really tight. If you've got someone that's going pretty well, then maybe you'll sit back on the ring, but you can still attack the ball from the ring and try and get a run out.
So the thing for me is the specifics of what happens if you chopped off the top half of his body and you're just left with his legs, and you really focused in on that, is that they're never doing the same thing every ball. The thing that is the same is the lead up to it. So the walk in, the preparation stuff. As soon as he starts to read information off of the bat, he's then changing his feet to match up with what he's seeing. So he'll see drop and run, instead of his feet being square to the target on contact, they'll already be in a split position so that he can go in. Because he's already made up his mind that's going to be a drop and run. Before that ball is, or just before that ball is making contact with the bat, his feet will have changed from being into this position to going forwards. And then that gives him a head start of maybe a yard, 2 yards over someone that would have been walking and got set in this position, because they then have to try and do this to start up, whereas Abe's is always in this position. It goes back to what he said about attacking first and defending second. He's got that mindset already, so his feet will be dependent on what he sees from the batter.
So thinking of attacking first and defending second, I like that analogy to it. You're going to just move it fast forward this a little bit instead of throwing the ball at the stumps as well. I imagine in terms of your footwork, to enable you to throw at the stumps, has to be really sharp, to manage your feet really well to align at the target. So we're just going to have a bit of a go at that. I might just give you a bit of a stimulus and a cue by running to the other end as well. Okay? We'll just go for a little bit of a direct challenge as well. Okay? Perfect.
It's not always about the flair stuff, throwing stumps down, one-hand catches. It's about the nitty-gritty, about driving on hard surfaces and throwing your body around. That's an evidence of that there. It's just inbuilt in A's. Regardless of the surface, he's hitting the deck and he's making the best of a bad situation.
Mark time.
The reality is the hit percentage, even for most top international fielders, is relatively low per chances given. So when you do miss, as a ring fielder, what's going through your head in terms of next time you get the ball?
I think you're obviously conscious about which side you're missing. So a couple there I've missed right and then just overcompensated a little bit. But big thing for me that we talk about is trying to stay long at the target. And I think when you get chances like this in a ring, it's so easy to snatch at it and, you know, just try and get rid of the ball as quick as possible. And then you don't really focus on the process and trying to stay long at the target, because that's what I do well when I have more success. And it's definitely an area that I can improve on further, is my stump hitting. But as I say, just sometimes you get wrapped up in the moment and the pace of the game, and you just want to try and get rid of the ball as quick as possible. So for me, a big emphasis needs to be on staying long at the target.
I know from previous experience, dropping a catch in a game, any game at any level, is the worst feeling in cricket. I think it's probably worse than getting out for a duck.
Yeah.
But when you get that opportunity as a run out to remove a member of the opposition, and it doesn't quite happen, how much does it affect the next chance?
I guess it does. It's a tough one because you're always, you know, trying to put that to the back of your mind and focus on the next ball and the next chance that you're going to get and giving yourself the best chance. But I guess naturally as humans we do think about our mistakes, and you know, what might have been and the chances that we didn't quite take. So that's all part and parcel of it as a fielder, I think, is when you do make a mistake coming back from it.
So I guess a key learn to any young player watching is you have to accept that fact you're not always going to get it right.
Absolutely, everyone's going to make mistakes. You know, you're going to fumble balls, you're going to miss run-out opportunities, you're going to drop catches. But you've got to try and give yourself the best chance around that as well.
I know from the young players' perspective, the club, just bring Tweds in as well. I know the philosophy that we practice as a club, it's okay to get it wrong. It's okay to practice that maximal intent in order to try and further your skill levels. Is that right, Tweds?
Yeah, 100%. Really want guys to attack the ball, throw the ball hard, try and take opportunities that are going to change the game. It's not always going to go as you want it to. But if you're searching for that and you're kind of looking to make that impact in the game, you can't really go wrong. We want players that are going to impact on the game, and it's okay for you to get it wrong in that situation, yeah.
So we've seen some great examples, some direct hits from Abes this afternoon. Tweds, can you talk a little bit more specifically about some of the footwork that enables Tom to do that?
Yeah, so the simplicity that Tom uses is one of the best there is at being able to get his feet in the right position before he makes a throw. The basics of it is that he always gets into a position where his right foot goes down, his left foot goes down, and then he replaces his feet to the target. So he's always in a position, no matter what the bounce of the ball is, where he goes right, left and throw. So even if he gets into a difficult position, the ball's got a difficult position for him to pick the ball up, he always gets into a really consistent place to be able to pick up the ball and then be able to fire from, because then it allows his arm to be really specific and as simple as it can be. It's that consistency, like a darts player getting into the same position on the hockey. It's the same position for Abes trying to make a throw, a set of stumps. He wants to be consistent with his lower body to enable his arm to be able to work properly.
Absolutely, and also you're getting into a variety of positions. It's one of the challenges of fielding is you're going to be consistent with that feet to the target, but also from a variety of angles. That's really challenging as well.
100%.
I feel it's important as well as fielders to be seen to be backing up your bowlers, you know, putting your body on the line, because that's ultimately what they're doing. You know, they're sort of working really hard for the team, and I think you should be doing that as well as a fielder.
One of the aspects that we have highlighted today is you're not always going to get it right. You are going to make mistakes, and that commitment to bettering yourself in practice, it's a bit of a process, isn't it? It's not just 100% success rate at everything you do.
Absolutely, and I've missed countless run-out opportunities, but those ones that you do take in big games and big moments, they make it all worth it for sure.
Well, let's finish on a high then. If we were to put you on the spot for a moment and ask you to pick a moment from your fielding career at Somerset so far, can you highlight one special moment out there on the field?
I'd probably go with my run out against Sussex in the One Day Cup. It's always nice when it's on TV as well, I guess.
Yeah, far too modest to say that you got 100 in that game as well. But thanks for both of you your time. From me, it's been a absolute education listening to Tom and Tweds this afternoon. It's first of our series of masterclasses this winter at the Cooper Associates County Ground, and yeah, tune in. There'll be more coming your way.